So, you've got a great lead magnet and people are ready to hand over their details. But wait, is your form GDPR compliant? Because if not, that free checklist could cost you a fine. Hey there, Tim from Boost My Business here. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create a lead magnet opt-in form and workflow inside of HighLevel that ticks all the GDPR boxes so that you can grow your list legally and safely. When someone gives you their personal data, and that definitely includes the name and email, under GDPR, you need to, number one, have a lawful basis for collecting it. Number two, get consent for marketing if you plan to email or SMS them. Number three, explain what you'll do with their consent. Number four, keep a record of that consent. And number five, link to your privacy policy. It may sound a little complicated, but it's easy to comply if you follow the rules and play it straight. Regarding number one, lawful basis, there are three main lawful bases that you'll come into contact more than often. The first is legitimate interest, which is, responding to a contact form or an appointment booking, something like that. The second is contractual necessity. So this is fulfilling a service, maybe appointment reminders, or in our particular case, delivering lead magnets. And the third is consent, which you actually need in order to send marketing messages. In the case of a lead magnet, which clearly falls under contractual necessity, somebody has requested a lead magnet. They have given you legal basis to send them an email containing a lead magnet. Easy. And good news, you don't actually need consent to fill this request. You can email the lead magnet and not break any GDPR rules. What you cannot do is then automatically add them to your mailing list without consent. That is a GDPR failure, and the GDPR police will be banging down your door any second. Now, if you want to send marketing messages, that's email, SMS, WhatsApp messages, you need consent. Marketing messages will be anything like newsletters, sales notifications, promos, one-off deals, that sort of stuff. If it promotes your business, it's marketing and requires opt-in, even if it's helpful. Now, generally, the whole point of a lead magnet is to get people on your marketing list so you can keep them informed of your products and services until they eventually become a paying client. And we're going to need consent to do that. So let's jump into HighLevel and start setting up our lead magnet form. So here I am in the form builder. I'm just going to add a new form, start from scratch. And what HighLevel will do, they will populate us a new form with some fields to get us going. Right, so this is the basis for a form. I'm just going to name this GDPR. First up, GDPR is actually super keen on something called data minimization, which basically means that you need to limit the data that you collect on a contact to only the things that you need. In this case, we're trying to deliver a lead magnet by email, so technically we don't actually need their phone number. So in order to make the GDPR police happy, I'm going to remove this field. It means I'm minimizing my data, and so that if my data did get hacked, it would only have sort of the minimum amount of data that I would require to service my contacts, so I wouldn't be losing sort of any credit with GDPR for just collecting a bunch of crap that I've never used. I mean, you can leave the phone number in. That's not a problem. If you're planning on phoning someone based upon this, then yeah, leave it in. I'd hate that, to be honest. And you could argue that having a phone number on a lead magnet form is going to put some people off as well. So personally, I take it off, but it depends on your use case. So let's delete that, and I'm going to leave first name and last name. That's absolutely fine. We could combine them into full name if we wanted to, but I'm just going to leave as is for now, just to make life easier. Definitely need the email, so we know where to deliver. Now, HighLevel have given us these lovely terms and conditions checkboxes, and they've pre-populated them with a bit of text. By checking this box, I consent to receive transactional messages related to my account orders. So it's that sort of stuff, and it's this that we need to use in order to gain consent. So if we refer back to our 5 points from earlier, number 3 is we need to tell them what we're going to do with their consent. So I'm just going to click on this box here. As you can see, we've got 2 options. I quite like this one. This is more what I'm in need of. So I'm just going to copy that over into that one and then delete out T and C number 2, because I'm only looking for one. and you make the edits in here, not on this. So by checking this box, I consent to receive marketing and promotional messages, including special offers, discounts, updates, amongst other things. But then it goes on to say messages may vary, so it's a little bit SMS based. This, and as I said, we need to tell them what we're going to do. So I consent to receive. I'm going to need to put in what marketing channel I'm trying to get consent for. So I'm going to send them email marketing and promotional messages. And I don't need this bit about opting out, but super useful is to mention you can unsubscribe at any time. That's a fully GDPR compliant opt-in. By checking this box, I consent to receive email marketing uh, and promotional messages, including special offers, discounts, new product updates, among others. Okay, you can unsubscribe at any time. Perfect. Now, GDPR is nothing if not a stickler for obeying the rules. So if someone is consenting, at the time of that consent, they need to understand what they are consenting for, which we've covered here, but they also need to be able to see and access our privacy policy so they know what we're going to do with their data. One possible option would be to re-engage TNC number 2. We've only got 2 of these to work with, and we could put something like I have read and agree to the privacy policy, and you can come over here and highlight a little bit of text and actually put a hyperlink in there to your privacy policy. That's one way of doing it. However, I prefer having one consent box overall, and I'll explain why. In this tutorial, we're going to build a workflow that makes a decision based upon whether or not the consent box has been ticked. I'm getting a little technical and in the weeds here, but the HighLevel system, it doesn't yet allow you to make a difference between which checkbox has been ticked. So somebody might come onto our form, tick this box but not tick this box. HighLevel can't tell which one they have. It just either is a yes or a no that a checkbox has been ticked. So what I'm going to do, just delete this one off, so we know if someone ticks this box, they are definitely consenting to email marketing. All I need to do around the privacy policy thing is down here is just make sure it's an accessible link that people can visit at the time that they are consenting. So you just want to come in and make sure your privacy policy links to your actual privacy policy. I'll just add in a description to the button. Submit will do, but something like yes, send me my lead magnet is a great descriptive word that someone definitely knows what they're opting in for, and GDPR loves that sort of stuff. I always spell lead magnet wrong for some reason. It's one of those words. There you go. Order is restored. And voila, a GDPR compliant form. Small aside, under no circumstances under GDPR are you supposed to pre-tick a checkbox like this. Fortunately, HighLevel doesn't let you do that, but some other software platforms do. Naughty, naughty. That's not allowed. Strangely, under GDPR as well, you can actually make the consent box a required field. So someone actually has to consent before they're able to submit the form. By ticking, they consent and they understand that they can unsubscribe at any time. That's totally legit. So here I am inside of the automation section looking at the workflows, and I'm going to create a new workflow to deliver our lead magnet. And I'm going to start from scratch. And first up, as always, is to name, because it keeps it neat. Spell it right. Yes. Okay, we need a trigger in order for this workflow to fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search over here for form. So we're looking for a form submitted, and in this particular case, it's going to be the form is, and I need to select my GDPR form from there and save that trigger. So anyone who submits that form will come into this workflow. But let's get a little sneak in here. I'm going to add in a filter, and I'm going to say terms and conditions is set to yes. So anyone who has filled out that form where they have also consented by ticking the box, I'm just going to rename this yes. I'm going to save that trigger. What I'm now going to do is set up another trigger, and this will also be a form. form submitted, and we're going to use the same form, GDPR, and we're going to have in the trigger as well. Terms and conditions is set to no. Save. Now, the reason I've got these two triggers inside of the same workflow, you could build two workflows, but it's nice to keep everything functional and nice and neat. So what I'm going to do next is create an if else, which will create a branch very much like this. Like these lines you see above, it's going to create a branch below based upon which workflow trigger fired, so that we can perform a different set of actions for those who have consented and a different set of actions for those who have not. I'm just going to put no in there, save that. Now for my if else to work, this is important. You've got to save it first, because we've added new triggers. It needs to know that these triggers exist before you start doing the if else. So just make sure you save along the way. Anyway, it's good practice. So next up, we're going to add in a new action. It's going to be an if else. And I always like to give it a name. So let's say, have they consented? And our first branch will be yes. And they always include a default branch, but I'm just going to, which is named none. I'm just going to call it no for now. And the condition for our branch is, if I select workflow triggers from here and say workflow trigger is form submitted yes, I'm just going to save that action now, and you'll see the branch appear over here. So yeah, basically, whenever anyone submits the form, either with a consent or without, they'll head down here, then they get asked the question, have they consented? Have they ticked that box? And if it's yes, they will head off down the yes branch. And you could build another branch to say if it's no, but basically it's a yes no choice. So if they haven't consented, they're going to head off down here. So what we can actually do based upon our workflow here is we can deliver the lead magnet. So let's add in a new email here, and I'm just going to put here's your lead magnet, and we can say hi, contact, first name, click here to download your lead magnet. And what I need to do is actually upload the lead magnet into the media library and get the URL for that. And then what I can do is I can put that URL in here so people can download the lead magnet via the email. So I'm just going to save that. Whether they're consented or not to the lead magnet, that's fine. They're going to get the lead magnet anyway. So I'm going to copy this action and paste it into there. Yeah, whether they're consented or not, they're going to end up with the lead magnet in their inbox. But for the ones that actually have, we could then start to drop them into, maybe we could add them to another workflow. Add to workflow. If you've got another workflow that's, for example, is a nurture workflow, we could put them in there because we actually have consent for them. So using this method of branching, we can actually do two different things based upon whether they're consented or not. You could just build out, say, for example, your specific nurture sequence inside of this. So we could wait a day, and then we could follow up with another email and say, hope you enjoyed your lead magnet. So we can build a full nurture out in this sequence, but that's basically it for the workflow. That's all it's done. It's taken the fact of whether someone has consented and fired them off down the correct branch of the workflow based upon their consent. So that is how you can add in a GDPR compliant form along with a GDPR compliant workflow that only sends the nurture sequence or the additional email marketing to someone who has consented to receive email marketing. So there you have it, a fully GDPR compliant lead magnet form and workflow built in HighLevel. No stress, no pre-check boxes, and no angry emails from the GDPR police. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and don't forget to check out my other GDPR videos. Also, if you want to take a shortcut with GDPR compliance, I have a GDPR snapshot for HighLevel. A link is in the description below. Until the next time, when we'll dive further into GDPRness, stay safe, stay compliant, and I'll see you for the next video.